Am I the antagonist for not paying for my daughter's honeymoon after she canceled her wedding? My wife and I have 3 kids, 36 male, 32 female, and 25 female. We have had agreements with all of our kids that we would help pay for up to $10,000 for their weddings, or use that same amount towards a down payment on their first home. Both of our oldest kids picked the down payment option. They both got married and had medium-sized weddings, both under 100 guests. They paid for the majority of their weddings themselves, but we did pitch in maybe $1,000 to $2,000 to each of them to help a bit. My youngest got engaged last year and started planning her wedding, which was scheduled for this October. She told us she would like us to help pay for the wedding instead of a house, since both her and her fiancé are more comfortable with apartment living and don't want to put roots down anywhere since they are both young. She had us put deposits down for a venue, caterer, photographer, and a DJ. These deposits totaled over $5,000 and were non-refundable. About 2 months ago, my daughter called to tell us that she and her fiancé had decided to cancel their wedding and get married at a courthouse. She said that the wedding planning was too stressful and they would rather just get married legally and spend money on a big honeymoon instead. She said she wants us to take the rest of what we would have paid for the wedding and put it towards their honeymoon instead. She said they want to take an extra long honeymoon, like 2 to 3 months of travel to multiple destinations. I told her that we would not be contributing money to that. I explained that by canceling their wedding, we have lost out on thousands of dollars and gotten nothing out of it due to non-refundable deposits. Mind you, we never questioned any of their choices regarding wedding planning and were not involved in any of the decision-making. I literally just wrote checks to vendors. My daughter is upset and accusing me of playing favorites with her older siblings and for punishing her because she wants something different for herself. I told her that the situations are not the same and that giving her thousands of dollars for her to bum around Europe and Asia for a few months was never something I agreed to. My wife wants to give our daughter a few thousand to try and even things out, but I am firmly against this. The way I look at it, we already gave her thousands of dollars and she decided to literally throw all of that money away. I understand wedding planning is stressful and if they want a courthouse wedding, that is their choice. But it also wasn't their money that they lost by canceling the wedding, it was ours. My daughter thinks I am being an asshole about this. And my wife wants to just give her the money to keep the peace. But I feel like that just completely absolves our daughter of what her decisions have cost us. I don't want to pay for her wanderlust after she cost me thousands of dollars. NTA, your daughter and fiancé might be TA. Just tell your daughter that the $10,000 offer was for a wedding or house deposit, nothing else. Now there is approximately $5,000 left. The $5,000 remainder can be put towards a house deposit at some point in the future if, or when, they want to buy a house. I can understand the frustration is that $5,000 has now been wasted and your daughter doesn't seem to care that you have worked hard for the money. Edit, typo fix. NTA. Throwing away your money was an move and I wouldn't give her more personally. If she had asked for the money for a honeymoon up front because she wanted to do a courthouse wedding instead, then that's one thing. But to be so disrespectful with your gift and then ask for more, that's just incredibly entitled. I am also curious what jobs they have that they can take a multi-month honeymoon. NTA. A long honeymoon is neither a wedding that you already lost money on, nor a down payment on a house. I think, had she spoke up before you guys dropped thousands of dollars you can't get back, maybe you might have considered her trip idea and this would not be the big issue it is. However, since it didn't go that way, I say you're not the a-hole. You guys agreed to pay for the wedding, and she agreed to have you guys pay for a wedding by asking you to take care of vendors, etc. I would feel awful if I wasted thousands of my parents' money and I wouldn't dare ask for more or consider changing the plans unless it was a health issue or life or death. I'm sorry. Am I the antagonist for sleeping on my weekends? Me, 35, have a stepdaughter, 13, who spends every other weekend at my home. My husband and I have 3 kids. For male aunts / 2 YRS / and 4 years, my baby is super fussy. It's been really bad. The DR said she is okay, she is really colicky. She cries all night long. The past few months have been a nightmare. Working all day, no sleep at night. I am a super light sleeper. I have been canceling our weekends with my stepdaughter, so my husband and I can catch up on sleep. My stepdaughter decided to blast us on social media. She said my dad and stepmom can't even take care of the kids they have. Yet they keep having more. So much for a reliable, loving parent. Followed by my husband's family asking her what's wrong. She let them know that we keep canceling on her time. It's not just her time. It's also her dad's. It's been a very difficult situation for both of us. My in-laws are now saying we are the A's in the situation. They stopped helping us with the younger kids altogether. Am I the A here? I feel like it's just circumstances. No one asks for a colicky baby. YTA. You can't just cancel being a parent because it's inconvenient. YTA. Your husband needs to be present in his daughter's life. Why can't you sleep while your husband spends time with his daughter? The colicky baby isn't your fault, but your solution is unfair to your stepdaughter. Her father is abandoning her and disappearing from her life. You guys do need to come up with another way of dealing with this. YTA. If you're concerned about sleep, she's right. You shouldn't be having more kids. You're showing her that she's not as important to you and her father as the kids you have. You only see her every other weekend and you can't even manage that? Kinda pathetic. And what's worse to me is that you as the stepmom are deciding to cancel her time with her dad. That's not up to you. She's still his child and she shouldn't be taking a back seat because he got a do-over at having a happy little family. You suckin' props to your stepdaughter for calling you out on it. Sure, doing it over social media might have been immature, but it's pretty par for the course for a 13-year-old. Am I the antagonist for telling a coworker to shut it about my citizenship party? I am originally from a European country, but have been living in the US for over a decade. I'm married to an American and we have 2 daughters. After being here so long, and because it would be easier for me to be a resident and citizen here than my husband would in my country, I decided, screw it, I'll be an American. I passed my citizenship test and will have my swearing-in ceremony soon. My family and friends' support has been ranging from do what's right with you to why would you do that? I understand the political situation here is shitty. If my husband could get residency in my country, that would be great. But Swiss laws are aggravating. I have a coworker who has been harassing me about getting American citizenship. She is about 30 and nags me about my choice to have my kids here or why I can't just uproot my family and take them back to Switzerland. Red tape and call makes it nigh hard. First off, we live in Colorado. 2, I have a loving family and great life here. At the end, I'm doing what's best for me and my family. Anyway, I told my coworker that if she didn't have anything nice to say about my decision to be an American, then to shut up. I just got an email from HR requesting a meeting between me and her. I think I know what it's about. Need help. Am I the antagonist for telling my coworker to shut up about my plans for US citizenship? NTA. Just go into the HR meeting and let her do all the talking. She'll dig her own hole. NTA. Just let HR know you were being harassed on the basis of national origin and you asked her to stop doing that. And hashtag X200B, and I hear you on Swiss citizenship, it sounds extremely difficult and definitely not guaranteed for your husband or children. NTA. However, I couldn't imagine that HR would have a meeting with the 2 of you if your coworker said, I was mocking OP's desire to become a US citizen and she told me to TIFU. It seems likely that she spun it some other way. I would be prepared to deal with some serious craziness, and you might want to have a representative there with you, or gather any evidence you might have of past harassment. I mean, maybe HR just called the meeting to tell her to TIFU, but that seems unlikely. She kept harassing you and she needed to stop. As far as HR goes, it'll all depend on what you said. If you actually told her to shut up, then you might get a scolding for your word usage. If you just told her she needed to stop and leave you alone, then you should have no issues. Either way, tell HR what your coworker said, and she will likely get in trouble for harassing you about this. Am I the antagonist for telling my cousin I don't care she has 3 years left to live? I know the title sounds awful, but hear me out. I have a second cousin called Jane. She is very close with my parents. We aren't close because she's always been kinda mean to me, but as we live in the same city and my parents often work long hours, she often accompanied me to extracurricular activities by taking the bus with me downtown, as she was the only one available. I got her a nice Christmas gift this year with allowance I saved up, so I don't think I've been ungrateful for what she's done for me. I'd also like to note I'm not that young, 16 female, it's just my parents are weird about public transport because I'm very small and a girl, and my mom was often harassed on the bus when she was young. Jane was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer recently and was given an estimate of 3 years left. Ever since she received the news, she's often done things like cutting in long lines and asking for discounts normally only available to service workers with the phrase, "I've only got 3 more years, we gotta make him good." Recently, my parents asked Jane to escort me on a flight to visit my family who lived in another state for 2 weeks. I'd never flown alone before, so the deal was that Jane would fly with me there and show me how things worked, return home without me, and then I would fly home alone after I knew how. My parents covered everything plus some nice skincare for Jane as a thank you. On the flight, she stretched out her knees and legs onto the seat in front of us. When the person understandably turned around to complain, she used the stupid excuse about the 3 years to live thing again. The person said they were sorry about that, but to please put her legs in her own space. She kicked her legs around a bit and then put them so her knees were resting on the back of the seat in front of us. I told her she was acting childish, and she said that she deserved to be comfortable in her last years of life. I then told her that me and others around her don't care about her living life to the fullest at the expense of others. She was really quiet for the rest of flight, and I feel horrible. I know I could have phrased it nicer, but I was sick of her being a jerk to random people. So, am I the antagonist, and how much? Edit. Just so you guys know, Jane really likes flying, so she was very excited to be the escort. She was also visiting a friend in the city. She also takes me on public transport about 1 to 2 times a month. Sorry if this is unnecessary, just trying to answer some questions. NTA. Like you said, you could have phrased it nicer, but she needed a wake-up call that I'm dying is never an excuse to treat others poorly. NTA. I am terminal, with about a year, but I don't act entitled to anything. When I am feeling down / my emotions run high, I spend time by myself so as to not offend anyone else. I am thankful for every single moment and am living life to the fullest, but not at the expense of others. NTA. It sucks that your cousin has only 3 years to live, however that does not give them the right to treat everyone like shit. You are right to call them out. I second all of the other commenters here and hope that you have the best year ever. Do any and every single thing that you want to do and can do while you are able to do it. Sending tons of internet hugs to you. Am I the antagonist for telling my mom I won't change her daughter's Rsvp response? My mom had a daughter, yes, my half-sister technically, when she met my dad. Mom was a widow. Her daughter was 6-7 years old. I was born when she was 9. The only boy in my family. I have 2 younger sisters also. My mom's daughter never bonded with us. She continued to see herself as an only child. She did not have a good relationship with my dad. She wasn't rude, but there was a coolness there. There was never any doubt she didn't like interacting with us. She moved away for college when she turned 18 and we saw her sometimes, but she mostly kept in touch with Mom. We'd see her maybe once or twice a year. Nothing had grown with time. She eloped some years ago, had some kids. Still nothing different between us. Her kids also know that she doesn't see us as her siblings or my dad as a parent. When my fiancé and I were planning our big gay wedding, we knew we would invite her and she would likely RSVP no, which she did, very quickly, I might add. I was fine with that. But Mom was not. She told her she wanted her and the family to come. She told Mom she didn't want to come. Mom told her it meant a lot. Mom then asked me to change the response of the RSVP or give her another card to check off. I told Mom no. I told her that her daughter did not want to be there and I would not change her response / let her, when she'd be doing so under force and not because she wants to be there. I told her I don't want someone celebrating my relationship with my future husband who loves neither of us and strongly doesn't want to be there. My mom told me she had gotten her to say yes, which from the sounds of it was never actually verbalized, and that I should be glad to have my big sister there. I refrained from saying she's not my big sister. But I did tell her we were in no way close, she doesn't want to be there and I don't really want her there either. So my answer was a final no. Mom told me weddings are about family and love and sometimes loving people who don't realize they want / need it. She told me I was not behaving like the man she raised me to be. She expressed disappointment in me. Am I the antagonist? Your mother is trying to have her fantasy about family at the expense of her daughter and son. NTA. NTA, she doesn't want to be there and you don't want to have her there. Mom needs to open her eyes and realize her kids will not play happy family. It's not all about her, it's all about you and your man. Congratulations and wishing you many years of joy and happiness. NTA, your sister is a grown woman and can make her own decisions, and you're right. Why would you want someone who clearly doesn't like / care about you at your wedding? However, I have to ask, do you have any idea why she's so cold to you and your parents? Did your mom have an affair with your dad? Please don't take offense to that question, I'm just trying to cover all possible bases. Mom needs to realize even if you changed the RSVP response, she could still not show up, can't force anyone to attend. Your mom is delusional if after all these years she still can't accept the truth that your half-sister is basically a stranger to you and your siblings. If Mom is helping pay for the wedding, maybe suggest she use some of that money on herself and get some therapy. Am I the antagonist for telling my wife that she does nothing? I, 33 male, am married to Molly, 36 female. We have a son, Theo, 5 male. Molly and I got married 7 years ago, but both decided to focus on our careers before we jumped into anything ultra-responsible like children. I'm a journalist, and she was a midwife, and we both did very well for ourselves. Our combined income meant we could actually survive this economy. Because we were so financially stable, and kind of getting on the older end of the spectrum for children, we decided to have our first, and only, child, which is Theo, of course. When Theo was born, Molly and I both took time off of work to spend the first few weeks with him, but eventually my paid break ended, and I was forced to go back to my job. Molly did not go back. In fact, Molly did not go back for so long that she was fired. This caused a giant rift between us at the time, but we came to the agreement that she could be a som while I went to work. This worked out for a few months, until Theo started walking, and then Molly stopped doing anything around the house. She would go out with Theo all day, and I would inevitably come home to laundry everywhere, toys scattered, kitchen a mess, and just no sense of cleanliness at all. I would end up having to clean the house after an 8-hour shift, only to have to work more on reports. This has continued. For the whole 5 years of Theo's life, Molly has been terrible at cleaning or taking care of the house at all. She does good with Theo, feeding him, cleaning him, etc., but I'm always left to clean the messes afterwards. At a time I thought maybe it was too much for her, and asked if she wanted to hire a nanny while we both worked, but she refused. I've asked her to maybe clean up a little before I come home. She agreed, did it for a time, and then stopped. Yesterday, I had enough. I came home from work only to find Play-Doh all over the living room floor, kitchen ingredients left out on the counters, water spilled over the hallway, toys everywhere, food on the floor. Edit. I feel need to clarify that I understand kids make messes, but this wasn't just Theo's mess, it was Molly's mess too. It was extra stress, and I finally snapped. I told Molly that I was done with it, and that I wasn't going to clean these messes anymore, that it was practically her job to clean the house, and that she does literally nothing, so this should be easy for her. She snapped back, saying that she takes care of Theo all day, and is teaching him and making him into a good person, partially a lie, since Theo now goes to school between 9 and 3. She said that kids make messes, and if I can't deal with that, then I shouldn't be a father. That I was horrid to say she does nothing when she takes care of a 5-year-old while I'm away. It stopped after a while, because Theo came inside from where he was playing in the garden, but I got told to sleep on the couch. I came back from work half an hour ago, and I'm still getting silent treatment, so I want to know if I was in the wrong and should apologize. Am I the antagonist? Edit. Theo is in his 2nd year of school. He started when he was 4 and will finish when he's 11. NTA. It sounds like you attempted at making compromises, and if the kid is now in school, there's no excuse for her not maintaining the house. I get when he was little and helpless, and mommying can be exhausting when they're that age, but he's a lot more self-sufficient now, so there should be no excuse. Maybe she could go back to work part-time now that he's in school and her salary can pay for a weekly housekeeper. You never really wanted or planned for her to be a som and would have preferred hiring a nanny while you both worked once you realized even more of the house chore load would fall on you, but she refused. She doesn't even clean up after herself. Child is in school for 6 hours per day. NTA. NTA. Your wife is doing nothing. Sure, childcare is hard, and taking care of a child all day can be a tough thing to do. But your son is in school for 6 fucking hours. WTF is she doing during that? That's more than enough time to do housework. I myself need an hour to simply mop the floor, do laundry, and do the dishes. Especially the messes your kid makes. Play-Doh on the floor would have earned me a slap on the head and an order of pick it up and put it away nicely. Your wife is doing no shit all day while your kid is in school and then has the audacity to call you a bad father for working and cleaning? This woman is a joke. OP, I need you to show her this comment section later. She is being extremely lazy. Theo is gone for several hours 5 days a week, so that's when she can clean the house. Being a som is incredibly hard, but only if you're actually doing it. Will there be times when it doesn't get done? Yes, of course. If the kid or her are sick etc. Daily, though, I don't think your expectations are unreasonable. As her husband, you need to sit down without Theo around at all and talk to your wife. Maybe go grab some food and go to a park. Find out where she is coming from. Ask her what her days are like from her perspective. Is she not feeling well and just not saying anything? Is she dealing with mental health issues? If you find that her answers are selfish or not what you can get on board with, then you have some serious decisions to make. No one should live a life that causes them to be unhappy on a daily basis. You need to lay out exactly what you want in a spouse. You also need to listen to what she expects from her spouse. It's possible they don't align anymore, and while that's very sad, it's better than wasting the time and effort 3 years of fussing and fighting.